WRMN Elgin, proudly serving the Fox River Valley. This update brought to you by Cintas. In Aurora, community leaders celebrated the start of construction on new permanent supportive housing aimed at vulnerable residents. The groundbreaking ceremony on November 14th brought together members of the Association for Individual Development, Hesed House, and the Neighbor Project, as well as local, county, state, and federal leaders. Speakers highlighted the collaborative effort to expand stable housing options at the future site on 2nd Avenue, emphasizing the positive impact the project will have on the community. Naperville officials are revisiting a proposal to create a specialized police unit for mental health crisis response. Police Chief Jason Harris noted that such a unit would provide expertise on mental health calls while freeing patrol officers for other duties, including speeding and e-bike complaints. City Councilman Ian Holzhauer described the program as essential, though some officials have raised concerns about funding amid tight budgets. An updated cost report for the proposed unit is expected to be presented tonight. Hundreds of National Guard troops deployed to Chicago and Portland are being sent home as part of a reorganization of domestic operations initiated by the Trump administration. In Chicago, roughly 200 Texas National Guard members are returning to base, while a similar number remain on standby. In Portland, California, National Guard troops are being reduced from 200 to 100, with remaining soldiers focusing on training. U.S. Northern Command says a constant, enduring, and long-term presence will remain in each city despite the drawdown. A Chicago Ridge woman has been sentenced to 21 years in prison for a deadly drunk driving crash that killed two siblings. 39-year-old Christine Brocious pleaded guilty last month to aggravated DUI causing death after the 2023 crash at Mack and Winfield Roads in Winfield. Prosecutors had sought the maximum 28-year sentence. DuPage County State's Attorney Robert Berlin said Brocious' actions were beyond reckless and cost two innocent people, the brother and sister, their lives, adding the crash also deeply affected their family and friends. I'm Trey Westerberg on 1410 WRMN Elgin, proudly serving the Fox River Valley.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
The holidays are back at Starbucks, so share the season with a peppermint mocha. Starbucks signature espresso, velvety mocha, and cool peppermint notes, topped with whipped cream and dark chocolate curls. Together is the best place to be at Starbucks.
Find what you love and love what you find at Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Progressive presents the Sports Flash on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN. Hawkeyes men's basketball's home tonight against Southeast Missouri State. The number 19 Hawkeyes women host number 7 Baylor on Thursday. Number 16 Cyclones men's basketball is 4-0 after a 96-57 win last night over Stonehill. The number 12 Cyclones women are on the road at Drake this Thursday. The Bulls beat the Nuggets 130-127 last night. Josh Giddey had 21 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 assists. The Bulls able to score the win despite a triple-double from Nikola Jokic. She had 36 points, 18 rebounds, and 13 assists. The Bulls are 7-6 with the win, 2-5 on the road. Number 21 Iowa football plays host to Michigan State this Saturday. The newest college football playoff poll comes out today. The Hawkeyes were number 20 a week ago. Iowa State football is home against Kansas this Saturday. Save big when you bundle auto and home, renters, or condo with Progressive. I'm Chuck Sanders on News Talk Radio 1410 WRMN.
Honey, look. 4
This is Sarah Silver with your Fox Valley forecast. Brought to you by Hot Hands, America's favorite hand warmers. Today, cloudy with a high near 45. This afternoon, cloudy with a high near 45. Tonight, cloudy with a low around 40. Tomorrow, cloudy with a high near 53. Looking ahead to Friday, partly sunny with a slight chance of rain and a high near 52. Currently, it is 42 and overcast. I'm Sarah Silver on the Talk of the Town, WRMN.
On the golf tee, it's Skechers World Champions Cup. Watch it live December 4th and 5th on ESPN and ESPN Plus, 12 to 4 p.m. It's PGA Champions Tour golfers from all over the world. Team USA versus Team Europe versus Team International. Watch it live December 4th and 5th on ESPN and ESPN Plus, 12 to 4 p.m. The competition will be tense, but feet will be comfy. Tune in to Skechers World Champions Cup. Final round of golf on Sunday, December 7th on ABC, 1 to 5.
When
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
And welcome, folks, to the Community Hour here on WRMN. Good morning, everyone. It's the 9 o'clock hour. Community Hour, of course, where we talk about all things happening in the community. We also do run through the weather and the temperatures, go through some of the traffic, maybe even kind of go through some news stories to kind of set up for the 10 o'clock news. All that good stuff, of course, here too. So stay tuned for that. We'll also go through the scheduling for the day today, talk about what's going to be on when and what's going to be featured on those shows too, of course. So stay tuned for that and more. You are listening to the Community Hour here on WRMN. Of course, you might have just listened to and maybe even watched the morning show here with Susie C. and the L Train, Elliot Serrano. And what's great about that, too, is you can re-watch their segments, their fun, exciting, Weird Wednesday segments here on our YouTube channel, on this live stream that's currently being recorded. It's going live right now. If you want to watch the previous segments, you can just scroll on your device, on the app, on your computer, wherever, if you're on YouTube. I'm talking about the YouTube side of things here. Then, of course, just scroll through it. You know what I mean? I'm trying to describe this as best as I can. The scroll of when the video goes. You know what I mean? And it's usually when it's alive. It's at the very end. It's the little red circle at the end with the red line because it's playing. And then you just click on it, scroll it back, and then you can rewatch parts of the stream. So that's my way of describing it to you as best as I can here on the YouTube side of things, but also, of course, on that AM 1410 dial, because we're also tuned in and broadcasting live there too. What I want to do is start off here with the weather. What do we have for today? How's the weather? Those casual conversations. Well, of course, we want to keep you up to date with the weather and what we're going to be seeing here. For today, it's a high of 46. Again, overcast. I know we've been seeing quite a few days of overcast skies. It'll continuing on. Okay, now we are going to be seeing possibly some sun coming up a little bit tomorrow. And then it's still a little bit more on the cloudier side. Cloudy today pretty much throughout the whole day. High of 46 degrees is in that forecast. And then we also do have some other things here as well, too. So definitely stay tuned for that. Let's see some other things that are going on here as well. It looks like oh, wait a minute. Oh my goodness, I completely forgot. Okay. We have the Wise, oh yeah, okay. So we have Wise Coffee Chat today. Let me quickly get all of that set up here for just a bit. So let me take a real quick timeout and we'll be back with more in just a bit. Stay tuned.
If you turned 65 recently like me, It's important you find a Medicare Advantage plan that gives you the coverage you're looking for. But finding one can be difficult. The best thing I did, and I suggest you do the same, is call a licensed insurance agent and let them walk you through your Medicare Advantage plan options. There are so many benefits you have access to, so make the call now and let the representatives explain everything to you. Our licensed insurance agents can offer you a variety of Medicare Advantage plans. Plus, the call is free, the information is free, and there's no obligation to enroll. We're here to make it easy for you to select a Medicare Advantage plan that may work for your needs. Finding a Medicare Advantage plan can be easy if you do what I did. Make a quick call right now to learn more. Thank you.
800-433-3082. 800-433-3082. 800-433-3082. That's 800-433-3082.
The road ahead can be unpredictable, but with the right partner, you're always moving forward. At Heartland Bank in Hampshire, we're with you. Every mile, every milestone. From savings to small business lending, we offer local decisions and personal service that gets you where you're going. Stop in at 819 Warner Street or call 847-683-4444. Heartland Bank, proud sponsor of America's First Responders Fest.
Are you looking to buy, sell, or trade something? Maybe clean out that attic or basement, or just make a little extra cash? Then don't miss Tradio on Out to Lunch with WRMN AM 1410. Weekdays at 12:30 p.m. Call in to let folks in the Fox River Valley know what you're looking for or what you've got to get rid of. It's easy, it's free, and it's a great way to connect with your community. Call in at 847-931-1410. That's 847-931-1410. If it's got to go, then let us know. Only on Tradio. Here on WRMN AM 1410.
Businesses come in all shapes and sizes. Integrity doesn't. For more than a century, the Better Business Bureau has set the standards for how businesses should operate honestly and ethically. So when you're looking for a business you can trust, check to see who's BBB accredited and who isn't. Always choose the Better Business. Look for the BBB seal because it's looking out for you. That's why it's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Kids today live in a world full of social pressure, bullying, and substance abuse. LEAD has a solution. LEAD connects law enforcement agencies with schools to deliver tested, proven, and effective anti-drugs and violence training to kids. Learn more about LEAD, Law Enforcement Against Drugs and Violence, and our work to create safer, healthier communities at leadrugs.org or on social media at We Are LEAD. Sponsored by LEAD, Inc.
The founder of Lux NC, right? But it's LXMB. I thought that's super cool. LLC. How are you, Renata? Good, good. So for those that are watching, you're watching the Wise Coffee Chat Show. I'm the founder, Jennifer Sanchez. I'm the founder of the Wise Alliance Network, as well as the Women's Institute of Self-Development Efficacy, Wise for short. I'm a real estate investor. And if you want to learn more about me, just go to wisealliancenetwork.com. And we have Renata here. So Renata, can you introduce yourself a little bit for the viewers and the listeners?
Of course. Good morning to everyone and happy Wednesday. Well, I don't even know sometimes how to even begin. It seems like a whirlwind, but I founded Lux MV this year, beginning of this year, after 25 years in corporate logistics.
Yeah.
So, that was definitely
Nice.
I can't believe I'm doing this type of thing.
Yeah.
But I knew that there was a need out there for what we are building. And I just never realized how quickly it was going to happen. Mentally for me, just always being, management, I've always thought slow and steady, build it.
Yeah.
So our commitment we had put on paper was January 1st, 2026. But we rolled out slowly, and all of a sudden over the summer, we boomed. So it's a great blessing to have. It's also obviously, in the moment, it's also kind of nerve wracking and anxious, right? But it's confirmation that women out there need this. And I'm just very happy to be able to provide, this new innovative service for us. To give you an idea very quickly for the viewers and listeners, we are a luxury chauffeur and concierge for women by women.
It's so cool. So cool. Go ahead. Go
Thank you,
ahead.
thank you. So, without dropping the names of ride-share companies that we are all used to moving with,
Sure.
we are that, but elevated to the 10th power, right? And so, when we say luxury, it is a twist on words intentionally. All of our vehicles are Mercedes AMG electric, so we are good for the environment.
Wow.
But the safety aspect and really the luxury for me and the twist on words is that all of our drivers are veteran women. So it's women servicing women, and the added factor of, women, we already have so many challenges.
Sure.
We go and serve our country. I don't, but I have members
Oh,
and
sure.
family members. And to come back and try to, just juggle everything on top of still being in the reserves and whatnot, right? And so I thought to myself, wait, there's all these women coming back. In general, are veterans, right? But if I can provide some sort of haven for them so that they're not having to worry about working 12, 14, 16 hours. I come from a background where I was working about 20 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Oh, wow.
International logistics, you have to be up at all times, right? And I wasn't the only woman. I definitely was burnt out. This year, I thought to myself, my mother, who has been my prime example of to hustle and all that, she she managed to do so much with so little. And I sat one night and thinking, how am I 41 completely burnt out, right? And instead of really just thinking where I could have done better, I started really just reflecting on women around me.
Mm.
And it's already difficult when you walk into a corporate environment to see the representation of women.
Yeah.
It's not equal. So that's one of the battles. But on top of that, I think as women, we are programmed because we know we can do it all,
Yeah.
that we should do it all.
Yeah.
Right. And that's
Yeah.
that old stigma that I'm trying to break. Right. And so that's where the concierge comes in terms of what we're doing. So if we think about, you talk to every woman I've talked to at this point, and we've been in many events together, thousands of women in Chicago. The number one complaint, and it can be, covered in a different light or in a different terminology, but really what it boils down to is time.
Yeah.
We just don't have enough time. Even when we go get our nails done or our hair done, we're sitting there thinking, what are we going to make for dinner? Our mom has to go here, the kids have to go. So we're constantly thinking, thinking, thinking. And the one time that we might have some time to ourselves, we almost feel guilty because it's like, did I forget to do something? Like, why is it so quiet? Is there trouble coming? Right. And so that just eats away at our spirit. Right. And so I thought to myself, wait, how can we maximize within the same 24 hours? Right. Well, our women are using these rideshare, well, our chauffeur service anyways. So if we're going to be taking our executives, our influencers, our models, anyone really, from point A to point B, you're going to be in the car minimum with us in Chicago traffic an hour.
Yeah.
What can I do for you and take off your plate in that hour? We will go drop off your dry cleaning. We will pick up your dogs from the groomer. We'll pick up your groceries from the grocery store. You are always in control. You buy your stuff. You just let us know where, when. We pick it up. And when we go pick you up at the end of your trip, because we're going to drop you off and then pick you up, we pick you up with your groceries. We pick you up with your dry cleaning. We pick you up all the little headaches that tend to take 30 minutes. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you
Oh
compound that,
no,
right?
it adds up.
It's a lot.
It adds up.
It's a lot. And on top of that, you think about the traffic and you think, and really that is why some of these big retail, big box companies have made such a buck, I like to say, on us, right? Because we need things now. And if possible, we need them before we even know we need them, right? And so that is the beauty of what I started thinking, or when I started conceiving this, it's okay. Not only is there a safety aspect, it's the first time going public, but I was a victim of sexual assault in Miami while I was working. And I carried that for the last 10 years. Just out of guilt, I have all brothers. I come from a Mexican traditional household. So the thought of telling them and, even though I know that they would have cared for me and been looking out for me, there's still that stigma of, what were you wearing? Were you out alone? Why were you out alone? Right. And it's one of those where it's like, well, dang if I do and dang if I don't, because as a woman that wants to be have a career, that wants to develop, we already have to work 3 4 times as hard as our male counterparts, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So the options are limited when you start thinking about that. It's like, well, do I just work my 8 hours and just kind of stroll by? Or do I put in the 12, 14, 16, 20 hours? But that means I'm coming out of PepsiCo at midnight after a board meeting. That means I'm coming out of Google at this time. I need to be able to take that transport, right? So I carry that. And this year, when I was just really, it was like an onion, really, just peeling back, like, how did I get to this place, right? And what
Yeah.
could I do for other women to avoid them getting to this place and be
Yeah.
able for them to really focus on their skills, on their gifts, on their talents, and take all the petty stuff away, right? All the
Yeah.
little things that do add up.
Yeah.
So that is really in essence what we started. We got very, I like to say lucky, but we were able to connect early on with right around the time with Chicago Fashion Week. It was the first year it came back. So that was amazing to see. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, when I tell my women, we recently did actually extend to the LGBTQ community. So that is an extension. At the end of the day, I'm trying to provide a safe transport for people that have been, overlooked previously, right? And so, regardless of how that looks, I want people to know that when they come into our vehicles, yes, when you see us rolling up, you think luxury is the Mercedes, right? On top of that, inside the cabin, everything is customized to our women. We take our women out on a brunch date before we actually sign every woman up. We don't want to be transactional.
Oh, that's actually pretty cool
Yes.
that you do that.
We want
That's
this to
nice.
be long term, right? And because it's long term, we would never want to develop a relationship with you on paper. Nowadays, it's fill this form out.
Yeah.
It's so cold, right? So we take you out on brunch as a girlfriend, as a sister. The sisterhood is what we believe in. And we get to know everything about you. And not just the pretty and the safe, but the ugly, right? So
Yeah.
I want to know your favorite color. I want to know what song triggers a heartbreak. I want to know, who pissed you off today. I want to know all of that.
That's
Because
nice.
when you come into our cabins, everything is customized and curated to your spirit.
Oh, that's very nice. So you create an environment in the car for your clients and it's personalized. So versus someone just jumping in, one of these other company cars,
Correct.
right? You're
Hmm.
you're just going in from point A and point B. And actually it is very scary for women. And I think sometimes people, and for those, I see a lot of people having a ball on social media. Thank you guys for engaging. I know that even someone on my comment, Jeanette, she wrote, yeah, it's true. Like now I got to go to a doctor, then go to the grocery store nearby, and then try to have my coffee,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Um,
So that's the thing when we pick up our women, because everything, and people tell me, oh my God, Renata, you had to be a woman to think about this. I want to know, are you a coffee or tea person? How do you take your water? I asked that to someone, they're like, what? Cold or room temperature? Flat or sparkling? It's the little details that make each individual person.
yeah, and that's what makes I think women different, right? Because we're the nurturing side. That's a nurturing gift that you have because you want to know every need so you can be attentive to the needs, right? Which I love that about you. So I know that we have also. Um, and I think you're gonna love my uh, coffee chat. For those that are watching, he actually asked for coffee black. So you guys know, like I love black coffee. So yeah, so when you said black, oh, another one of these that we just a plain black coffee, right? I've had jokes saying there's something not wrong with you, right? Black, no, I like black coffee. A wise woman once said, "I'm not gonna say F this," and she lived happily ever after. So that's what my mom says. So I thought I thought about that. I thought about you, and I said she's gonna love this mug. course. I come from a background where I am and integrated during the 80s. And so, long story short, unfortunately, I wasn't able to fix my legal status. So I was here for because that's so true, right? I'm like, wow, really? Nice. And where did that come from? Exactly. But then that really made me back. Let's take a quick short break, but we're going to keep talking to Renata in a few. Stay tuned.
I'm Trey Westerberg on 1410 WRMN Elgin, proudly serving the Fox River Valley. This update brought to you by Hot Hands. Naperville officials are revisiting a proposal to create a specialized police unit for mental health crisis response. Police Chief Jason Ayers noted that such a unit would provide expertise on mental health calls while freeing patrol officers for other duties, including speeding and e-bike complaints. City Councilman Ian Holzhauer described the program as essential, though some officials have raised concerns about funding amid tight budgets. An updated cost report for the proposed unit is expected to be presented tonight. Hundreds of National Guard troops deployed to Chicago and Portland are being sent home as part of a reorganization of domestic operations initiated by the Trump administration. In Chicago, roughly 200 Texas National Guard members are returning to base, while a similar number remain on standby. In Portland, California National Guard troops are being reduced from 200 to 100, with remaining soldiers focusing on training. U.S. Northern Command says a constant, enduring, and long-term presence will remain in each city despite the drawdown. A Chicago Ridge woman has been sentenced to 21 years in prison for a deadly drunk driving crash that killed two siblings. 39-year-old Christine Brocious pleaded guilty last month to aggravated DUI causing death after the 2023 crash at Mack and Winfield Roads in
back and live on the air. All right, so we are back live on the air. We had to just take a quick break, but we were talking to Renata. For those that are watching, Renata actually has a her company's called Lux NV, which is a luxury concierge
And chauffeur.
chauffeur service, which is super cool. She was just sharing about how your parents migrated here in the 80s, how you had to go. So you're an
I'm
immigrant,
an immigrant,
immigrant.
eldest of four. And I think, for those of us minorities, women of color, I think regardless of what position in the family, especially when you're a only daughter, you end up being I'm called the family manager. I didn't realize that was a role that I had applied for. But I helped raise my brothers since they were young. It's not paid, by the way. There's no
Not
benefits.
paid. You just
No
got you
benefits.
just got
No
that role.
benefits.
You
You
just
just
got
get the
that
call
role.
one
Yeah.
day. You're like, wait, what? What do you mean? Where's your mother? Where's our mother? Why are you calling me? But no, I helped raise my brothers since I was pretty much 8 years old. We moved from California to Chicago in 1989. So you just grow, and when I have these conversations with my family, it's in no way attacking our culture or our ancestors, but it is a fact that we are created in the image, or we are we end up being what we see at home,
Of course.
right? And
Yeah.
so because we see our mothers doing it all,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and because especially in the older generations, they were taught to just say nothing, look pretty, and you look pretty when you don't talk, clean the house, take care of the kids, do that. And so because of that, right, I grew up thinking, well, this is clearly what a woman's role is, right? Unfortunately, somewhere in there, in that teenage, I think my alpha-ness came out. I've always been a tomboy, a daddy's girl, but I realized, wait, no, no, absolutely not. Little did I know as a child, but now as a grown woman, I can look back and notice my mother didn't have to speak in order for people to realize she wasn't happy. She wasn't fulfilled. She was managing a lot of things by herself. And just because she was able to do it didn't mean that she should have done it all by
For
herself,
sure.
right? And so that's where I was like, no, not me. That's
Mm-mm.
not going to work for me, right? And so I focused on my career, and I focused, especially after I did fix my legal status, I wanted to be able to prove to other little girls that have crossed the Rio Grande like me at 4 years old, hey, you can do it, right? It's going to take a lot. When I
Sure.
first started at 17, I was working from 8 to 5 in the office. I would sleep in the car 3 hours, and then I'd work a warehouse job. Why? Because I wanted to know everything about logistics. I'm a nerd at heart, anyways, but I wanted to learn why. Why does this go there? Where is this going? What is logistics? What is supply chain? And so, real quickly, people were just like, just put her somewhere in the office and give her something to do. So, in that way, I was like, all right, as long as I keep asking the right questions, they I can just become a sponge, right, and absorb all of that. But when I say a blink of an eye, literally a blink of an eye, between 18, when I really thought, okay, what, I'm not going back to school. I don't have an opportunity to go back to school. I can't leave my mom and my brothers and my family. And I said, all right, my parents work blue collar. I can work blue collar too. And I remember very clearly a plant manager came up to me, and they've always called me by my last name. And because, 5 feet with heels on, they were like, little Medina, don't you ever worry about your legal status or nothing like that, because I was driving forklifts, I was loading containers, bringing them out, so they were like, as long as you continue with this work ethic, you can retire here. And I still remember, that day,
Wow.
because I
That's
was
pretty
like,
cool.
maybe a lot of people would have taken it like, oh, yes, but that 17, 18-year-old was like, you got me effed up if you think I'm going to retire here. And not because sorry, but not because I was too good for that, but because my parents had already gone through that, right? They worked the fields, they worked the warehouse, the graveyard shifts. So the way I see it is life in general, it's not a race, it's a marathon, right? And so you have to be able, that's why I always say, get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Once you're comfortable with being uncomfortable, a slap in the face, all right, boom, you trip, boom, get back up,
The
right?
next one.
The
Yeah.
next one. And that next one is, or that previous one is building your strength for that next one, right? And so I thought to myself, no, my parents have already worked that life. How would I be doing justice to the sacrifices they made, leaving their family, their language, their culture, their home country to come to the unknown? And I like to play with my brothers, right? But I know it's for them too. And it wasn't even for y'all. You guys didn't even exist. Like, I was the one that was born. I took that responsibility or that weight up. I have to take that sacrifice
Yeah.
like a baton and take it to the next level. So regardless of what it was going to be, I was sure that I didn't want to retire in a warehouse. I needed to do right by my parents and prove to them that, hey, even if it was one step above, we're one step above, right? And maybe the generation after us will take it one step above. And that's really how you, in the process, break down generational curses and build generational wealth, right? Or blessings, I like to call them. But yeah, after 20 something years, this year, I said, it's great. I've been able to achieve many firsts in my career. I was the first woman supervisor at a particular company I will mention. Then I was the first woman manager in both occasions, Latina, first Latina. Logistics is dominated by Danish, German, and Swedes. So, to grow up in the last 20 years in that environment and see very little representation, not just as women, but especially women of color, that became for me my kind of side hustle within my career, because I thought to myself, I can come here and make money for these big corporations, but in the process, whose life am I affecting? Whose life am I impacting? Because I could die tomorrow and PepsiCo will still make money tomorrow, right? So I thought to myself, wait, somebody once upon a time looked at me and said, instead of this one being just, she's constantly asking questions, this one wants to learn. Like, this one, we can take advantage of her brain, right? So I started thinking, I need to look around and spot those that are kind of cornered and overlooked. And really, in that process, I learned management of people, which is a completely different monster than management of money, management of assets, right? And so I like to tell everyone, we are all trees, all of us. We bear fruits. What kind of fruits? We're individual though. So I could never expect to go to you, let's say as a mango tree, and then to somebody else as a banana tree and expect the same fruit back by giving you guys the same light, the same water, the same fruit. Every tree is unique, right? And every tree needs to be loved on or nurtured individually. And so in that process, in the last 10 years, I made it my mantra that, okay, I don't know how long I'm going to be in the industry, but I want to make sure that when I leave the industry, there are more women. And when I say women, there are women everywhere. But in terms of management, why are there 60% women on the floor, but women management we're 1%, right? And so
Oh, that's
I
big.
thought to
That's
myself, we're gonna
good.
change that, right? And so
Good.
thankfully, we were able to do that. And this year I was like, okay, let's take this to a bigger scale, right? What if I've been able to touch lives on a small scale, on a regional scale? Then what can we do, especially here in Chicago? I mean, come on, Chicago top 3, right, in the U.S. And to be the flagship of this. First of all, when I started doing the research, because I am a nerd, the thought that this doesn't exist, we're in 2025, and not a single person has ever thought. Now they say we matter, right? We see it all over the news and social media. Women are the center of society and the nucleus of family, and without women, we're nothing. It's a man's world, blah blah blah. And I always do this because it's words.
That's a violin, guys.
It's a
For those that
it's
it's a violin.
violin, right? Because put your money where your mouth is at.
Absolutely.
If we are so as essential to life, to the planet, to just who we are as society, do something about it. And not reactively. That's one of my biggest, pain points is so many of us, we react.
Sure.
Somebody gets kidnapped or somebody gets murdered in one of these ride shares. And what do we do? It's on the news. Maybe there's a hashtag. Depending on, I hate to even bring this up, but depending on the color of skin, there's a march.
Wow, that's deep.
And then it's over.
Yeah.
And then it happens again in 3 months. And then we do it all over again. And it's just like, what
Yeah.
is the point of that? Why hasn't any of these big corporations that are making billions off of women, why wouldn't you put 1% aside and say, you know what, we see there's a problem, we're going to fix it, or we're going to at least try, right? But not even that. And come to find out, this year, shortly after I launched, that they did actually release the Women for Women. So, you know, a lot of my naysayers were like, well, now what are you going to do? Now you can't compete. Well, my goal was never to compete against them.
No, not at all.
We are building an experience. When our women walk in, the cabin is lit to your favorite color. The aromatherapy shooting through the vents is your choice. It's all built into your profile. If you're a coffee or a tea person, the order is already on us in the car when you walk in. There's blankets, there's full pillows, all leather, all black mink. There's every amenity that you can think about for a woman, we are able to provide in cabin. For a women like me that always say, I don't have time to do my nails, right? I didn't have time to do my nails this week, but when you called me last night, I had time to show up today, right? So, you know, that's exactly what I mean. It's when it comes for us, we put ourselves last. So I tell my ladies, all right, we log down where you get your nails done, where you get your hair done, what's your favorite restaurant, what's your go-to meal, because when you're on the run and we're on our way for you, we're going to stop and grab your lunch because we already know what your go-to is at little wherever, right? We're going to stop and make our concierge team will call you and say, hey Jen, when was the last time you got your mani, because we haven't taken you to your nail shop in a minute. You're gonna be, oh, I haven't had time. We will ask you for a couple of days and times. We make the arrangements for you. It's 5 minutes that you're on the phone with someone, but that's still 5 minutes, right? Oh, you don't have time to make it. We'll go pick up a nail tech, bring it in the vehicle with your lunch so you can come down from your office, sit in our vehicle, eat your lunch when you're getting your nails done during your lunch, and go back upstairs.
Look at that. That's some luxury. That is amazing that you provide that service. It's so unique too. I don't think listening to you, it's like I don't think, especially having veteran women drivers, right there is a safety
Correct.
component that makes you feel safer
Correct.
already as a woman, right?
And regardless, we still do background checks. All of our drivers are background checked every 90 days to ensure that you never know, right?
Yeah.
We want our women to feel, I always tell them, when you leave our cabin, I want you to feel that you got the hug from your sister or your best friend that you didn't need to ask for, and that you don't feel guilty receiving. Because that's a lot of what our issues are. I have a best friend who's my sister, Arlene, and she always, oh, I'm here. Why don't you come? Because you already have so many things going on, right? I don't want to be an added stressor. I don't want to be, that's the heart of a woman. We don't want to go on top of someone else. Well, you don't have to worry about that in our vehicles. Come in, sit down. I always tell them when they come in, I'll say, how's your mood? Are you good? You want to chit chat or do you want to? Because I don't know about you, but there's so many times where I'm just writing like this, not a word, not nothing. And I'm like, when did I even make a write? When did I start? Because we're so much.
Oh, you are on autopilot. That's happened to me so many times driving. It's like, you have a 40-minute drive.
Why did I get
Here? Like,
right, because our mind, I can find what we're doing, right? So, example, our women have
you want me, with that. Like, And
When it comes to orthopedic and spine surgery, Prime Healthcare St. Joseph Hospital in Elgin leads the way. Recognized by U.S. News and World Report as a high performer across multiple surgery types, we offer advanced and minimally invasive procedures supported by state-of-the-art imaging technology. Our expert surgeons and compassionate care teams are here to help you move, heal, and live better every step of the way. St. Joseph Hospital in Elgin, exceptional care close to home.
Looking for a seed buying experience that's more humanized? Ready to trade a company that's oversized for an independent brand that's right-sized? Searching for elite hybrids that have been optimized, tested in your geography, and localized? Did we run out of words that rhyme, so now we have to use metaphysicized? Maybe so. But if you answered yes to any of these questions, then it's probably time you get Wiffleized. Choose Wiffles hybrids this season, and let's get familiarized.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
If you build a relationship, then it becomes easier. If you build trust, it becomes easier. As a parent, you want what's best for your child. To give them the love that a child needs is probably the best thing you can do for a teenager.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Clutter happens, but junk doesn't have to weigh you down. At the Junk Luggers, we're your full-service junk removal and hauling pros, tackling everything from single-item pickups to major cleanouts. We handle the heavy lifting, and with our commitment to the green way, we rehome and recycle to keep your unwanted items out of landfills. So, whether you're clearing out the garage, downsizing, or saying goodbye to old furniture, we make the process eco-friendly and easy. Call 1-800-LUG-JUNK or visit junkluggers.com today. Let's save your space and the planet together.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
It's what we were taught, trained, and told to do.
It could be for anything. Helping a friend move.
Listening to a fellow veteran for hours, at any hour of the day.
Or just simply making time for people. A neighbor, a loved one, or even a stranger.
We're often the first to help others. There's no question about it.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
Perhaps it's time to do for yourself what you would do for others.
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
So we've been having such a great conversation with Renata. We've been having learning more about your business, learning about you, how you got to where you're at. And I told you this before when I met you at the what was it that we the theater opera, the lyric
Oh my
opera.
gosh, such a gorgeous.
I admire your strength. I admire your courage, especially because you went through such a traumatic experience, right? Which actually, it sounds like it led you also to this, right?
Correct.
To empower women
Yes.
and give women a safe space, which
Mhm.
is amazing. So, what are the plans moving forward for Envy Lux? What are you trying to do, now moving forward?
We are definitely scaling much faster than I anticipated. So, we've partnered with some amazing designers, fashion industry executives, corporate. So that, as you can imagine, is a slow but steady development. However, for us, the biggest for 2026, the biggest goal that we have for ourselves is through a angel investor, we're going to be working on our app. And so the app is different. Lux MV is never going to be someone that you can call today for a ride today. We don't we're not about express things,
Yeah.
right? We want to be able to curate an environment for you because let's say even if you go on vacation or even if you're going to a celebration, we're trying to get to the point that our women don't have to wait to be seen or felt until they're there.
Sure.
The experience can start the minute you walk out of your home, right? And so
Sure.
we're building for that. And because of that, we need to make sure that we have the vehicles stocked, right? The drivers. What if it's coming up to where they need to do their background check? So we tend to ask for 2 to 3 days least minimum of time in advance. But something that's been on hold is an app. We want to be able to provide an application, but it's going to be different. I want to do away with the stigma we have right now, which is the other day I was out somewhere, and I needed to take a ride share. And I completely forgot that once I'm in this ride share, because I have all brothers, they in my app had gone in and shared my location with them in
That's
this
so
app,
good.
right? And so I wasn't out. I wasn't out at the regular time that I'm used to. So they asked, they're like, "Hey, why'd you get dropped off?" And I'm like, "How did you even know that?" Right? And they're like, "Oh, because we want to make sure you're okay, and we did this to your app." And I'm like,
Oh wow.
isn't this nice? I'm the grown one here. I raised you guys, but I get it, right? And I thought to myself, there we go. I don't want this app to be that. I don't want this app. A lot of us, even when I didn't know that service was available, what I'm used to doing is I come into the vehicle and I share my location, right? Or
Sure.
my ETA with my boyfriend, my mom, whoever. No. The app we're working on, it's going to be a very innovative app to where you don't do nothing. It's really just a silent app on your phone. You can talk to our concierge there. You can update your profile. Let's say that all of a sudden, like me, I used to love milk, but now in my 40s, my body's like, no, right? So what
No.
if that what if that changes? We want you to be able to do that, right? But
Yeah.
the app itself is so that it's in your phone or on your watch. And the minute you cross the door in our cabin, your location is automatically sent to your what we call them your emergency contacts,
Uh-huh.
but automatically on Apple or Google Maps. You don't have to
Oh,
push
okay.
anything. You don't. We want to take that. Why? My brother has never done that. You know what I mean? My brothers have never got into an Uber, picked up by a man, and said, "I feel unsafe. Let
No.
me send my location to my sister."
Oh wow. Yeah, that's a big.
So why do women have to do that?
Yeah, it's so true.
And
Like
why have we allowed society to tell us without words that that is what's needed in order for our safety to be guaranteed, if that, right? So no, the app is coming. It's a very big financial investment, so it's something that's working, slowly and steady.
sure.
But I want that stigma to. I'm all about removing stigmas at this point. I think I'm just about, just making enemies left and right because I refuse to conform. I refuse to believe that the way the life is right now or the way that earth is right now that this is how it has to be.
Yeah.
That's what's so beautiful about innovation, right? It's scary, but that's how we as society we evolve. And so if I can at least get the movement started, right? And I have a
Sure.
lot of people that tell me, "What are you going to do when this model is copied everywhere? Think about it. You need to do that." Well, that would be the goal.
Mm-hmm.
I never said I want to be the only business that or the only entrepreneur or founder of this type of business. My goal is that there's other people that wake up and say, "Why didn't we think about this?
Sure.
Let's start something like this in LA." We were just asked, "When are you
Sure.
coming to LA? When are you opening in Champaign Urbana for the colleges?" So the women are
There's a
showing that,
demand. There's
right?
definitely a demand.
So I would hope whether it's a male ally or another woman, I would hope that they say, "Let's do this and spread it around the world."
I love that. And I love that you're trying to make a change, right? And you're kind of the catalyst for that, which is amazing. The app sounds like it's phenomenal. If someone wants to learn more about you, have a one-on-one consultation, or how does someone even like come across this?
Absolutely. So we are on social media, both Facebook and Instagram. Instagram is really where you will find a lot of the behind scenes of the cool stuff that we are getting to do with a lot of the Chicagoland events. We are there. You can contact us there, or you can actually, I'll leave my phone, but also our email, which is Hey Beautiful. That's HEY Beautiful, all one word, at LXMVLLC.com. So, we want to get to know them. Send me a DM. We want to get to know you. We want to talk to you. We want to take you out for brunch. We want to go have that mimosa or that cafecito, right? And we want to, even if it's just that, we want to be able to love on our women and make them believe, no, we're not crazy, right? And even if at times we feel a little crazy, it's okay. And there's other women that will understand you, and there's other women that will love on you.
Yeah, I think it's super exciting what you're doing. I think women are excited. I see comments. I see someone wrote, "I can't wait to share your info and use your service." But I remember a long ago, like when I worked for a different company, I remember I would on my breaks or on my lunch go to grocery shopping, especially when it was winter time. It was like this is the perfect time. I could knock it out. I have an hour. It stays cold in the car, right? And like the way that women think to be efficient, right? How are we gonna be efficient? How do we make sure that we get everything done? When do I squeeze in these meal appointments, right? And then even more when you're like mom, right? It's one thing when you have a partner that supports you, kind of can take some of the load. But then now when you're alone or you're a single woman or a single mom, now you're like, oh damn,
Or even, when you do have a partner, but not
a
supportive,
supportive partner.
right? I
Correct.
mean, that is many of us, unfortunately, or not myself, typically, but there's many women in that way where, I always say, you exist. You exist, but you don't feel seen, right? There's a difference. So yeah, I'm so excited to connect with everyone hearing us and watching us. We have some amazing events coming up with the fashion industry in Chicago. We do actually have something a really nice private gala this weekend. So that's on our Instagram and our Facebook. Anybody that wants to come out and see what we're going to be doing, there might be a chance that I'm going to we'll see. And yeah, come talk to us. Help.
You guys tune in next week for our next guest and keep listening to WRMN 1410.
Thank you, Dad.
Thank you, everybody.
You know what